Welcome back to Anything Goes Garage. Another rainy, cold day here at the shop. The doggies are in here with me. And we got another Amazon order today. And a little build I want to do. A couple of things. Today was Amazon order for the carburetor for the 750 double pumper for the gasser. I got that cleaned and almost ready to go. High volume oil pump for our big block Chevy. And I am going to get you guys in here. I'm going to put together a 10.5 to 1 big block Chevy with an 8-inch deep pan. It's a high volume oil pump, gear drive, roller rockers, stud girdle, a set of 291 big block closed chamber rectangular port heads, and a 60 over 396 4-bolt main block. So we're going to put that together, and I got to hone it and everything. Here's the crank. It's in beautiful shape. Crank just needs polish. The block just needs a hone. Very good, very nice virgin block. I don't think it's got many miles on it, but even the pistons are, somebody's done the pistons, so I don't know where they found this block, but it's a good candidate. Putting the gasser, I know it's a little big block, but little big blocks can go fast. I miss my big block. That one right there, the one that was 496. So the kids are happy they're in here. I cleaned up this carburetor in the cold soak and cleaned it. I'm going to assemble this tonight, get this back together. So meanwhile, I think tonight I'll work on the block too. Do a few things. Being it's a beautiful, wet, if you're a duck, night. Alright, so I didn't go with Holley this time. I went with something on Amazon, a little cheaper. I want to try one of these kits. All-state carburetor. I've heard of these guys. Box is a little smushed, but it's for $41.50 for a 750 double pumper. A lot of good parts in there, supposedly. Looking at the picture, that took maybe a day or two to get here. That ain't bad. And of course, the lifeblood of that big block is, which I'm surprised I didn't have an extra one. Oh, that box is beautiful. Look at that. It's mangled. Wish I got a big giant rock inside of a box, inside of a bag, and I'm sure it got thrown around in the truck. Oh yeah, look at that. That's beautiful. And the M77HV. Let's check her for damage. Bag's half open. And she's been banging off of some stuff. Turns over nice. Nothing's broke. Nothing's cracked. Everything looks good. Alright, so it survived. It survived the ride here. So, alright. Okay, so I'll take this, put some stuff away here and get this carburetor in and start putting it together. Alright. I laid everything out here just the way it came apart. It ain't like it's my first rodeo, but I'm going to do some cleaning up. Some of these orifices, blow this thing out, got a blowgun. I'll do some gasket scraping if there's any. Let's put this thing back together. Alright, let's open up this box. Life is like a box of Holley parts. Oh, wait, it's got a piece of plastic. A little tab with some tape. I don't want to destroy the box in case something isn't right. Alright, it's got the blue gaskets. I hope these are the right bowl gaskets. They're kind of like rounded like the Demon. They're not the same, and I saw a lot of these. I wanted to buy these gaskets in bulk to keep them in the trailer. See how they're rounded here and not on these? I guess they'll work. I guess the only thing I have to do is try it. So let's get this thing once I open. Oh, they put them in Ziploc bags. Nice. So I guess this guy or these people must make the kit and put it together, so which ain't bad. I'm down with that. I'm gonna find a place to put this stuff so I don't mix it in all the, as I take it apart. we don't mix up everything. So directions, who needs those? Men don't use directions. Set the vehicle up and let it warm up. Oh, that's low level. Extra screw, that's easy. That's not assembly. If you're doing this, you better know what you're doing. I mean, it's not hard. Let's see here. Uh-oh. Oh. I guess they do work. Look at that. Even with the round corners. It's not square peg, round hole. It's rectangular gasket, round corners. That's fine. All right. Let me get a couple tools and get situated here. All right, so the first thing I did was determine my primary and secondary bowls. And so I didn't mix them up. And make sure, put your floats and your hinges back in and make sure everything's good to go. And the next thing I'll do is put an accelerator pump, the check valve and the spring, the diaphragms, and the bottom half of the arm assemblies. So I put your rubber diaphragm in here. Now, the thing is, they leave you this big rubber tit, I'm going to call it. Don't be offended. The orange thing sticking out, that needs to be clipped off or else it hits the float and will interfere with the float height. So just snip that off. Not level, but just take 3/4 of that off, both front and back. Usually I put a little bit of oil as you pull it through the carburetor so it comes through a little nicer. Next is your spring and your accelerator pump itself, and then the housing. The arm goes to the outside. And just run the finger, start the screws with your fingers. I'm trying to start something that ain't there. Start the screws on your fingers so you know they're not cross-threaded. And I don't have a shorter screwdriver. Not with me, but just run them down equally and just snug. And to make sure they're a little more than snug, because as this thing goes along, it's going to possibly weep a little, and you may have to tighten them up. And if there's no gap between the intake and this, you can't get a screwdriver or a 90-degree screwdriver in there. So make sure they're in there well enough, but don't kill them. Just snug. Perfect. The nice thing about this kit, they also give you the 50cc accelerator diaphragm, but they give you two 30s, which is nice, the stock ones. So I always put that in my tuning kit. I do have one for this. If I have to change it over, at least I have the diaphragm, and I do have another one of these assemblies for just that purpose instead of buying one aftermarket. I probably pirated it off a parts carburetor somewhere. So I think I need a longer screwdriver. All right, so that one's together, working nice, spring loaded. Now I'm going to work on, let me see, front metering block, rear metering block, put the jets back in, the power valve, and just make sure there's no trash inside any of the holes, blow them out, make sure all the gasket material's off, and we'll start putting that together. Now, I got the power valve that was out of this thing. I cannot for the life of me read the numbers on this anymore. I don't have my cheaters on, so I'm going to put my phone on camera, take a picture of it, and then blow it up. I know this isn't the one I'm going to use, but for now, we're going to put it in there. All right, so it has a 6.5 power valve in it, which is basically stock. Now, I know that engine with that giant camshaft in it is not going to use this 6.5, so I'm going to go over to the trailer and go find something like a 4.5, 5.5, and get it in the ballpark, because this is not going to work. No sense putting it together with something that's way off and it either too fat and too lean, whatever, too fat. So I'll do that, but meanwhile, I think I'll do work a little bit on this until it gets time to put the power valve in. The back one takes a plug, so we don't use power valves in the back. So secondary, well, here's the primary. The jets in the front are 73s. And yes, I did cheat with my phone because I can't read nothing. And it worked though. So we got a pair of 73s in the front and 82s in the back. So we'll start these in here. And always use your Holley jet tool and whenever applicable, whenever you got it, because they do not mar up the jets like using a screwdriver. So we're good with that. Yes, Maggie, can I help you? Didn't you kids, wow, didn't just eat all that food? All right, so we'll put our secondaries in, our 82s. Get them started. And we are pretty much done with the metering blocks until we get our gaskets. Whoa. Hold on. Oh, wow. I just realized we got some mixed up jets here. That I can read. 73. Oh, I mixed up the jets. Good thing. This one's printed a lot better. All right. Secondary's done. 82s. Primary's done. 73s marked on the blocks. Ready to go. All right. So I guess we'll put the main metering body to the throttle plate and blades. And we got to match up which gasket, because they do make, whenever you pull one of these apart, always keep this gasket, because they make, I don't know how many different versions in the kit. Let's see. That many. Yeah, that many. So just want to match them up. Don't throw these away. Don't destroy them until you get the kit. The rest of it's pretty much self-explanatory. Sometimes the metering block ones do that one there, but not all the time. So there is a difference. These two with the big bores, one gasket's got more material. I think one hole's a little different down here than that one. So these are close, but you got to make sure you match them up to the old one. This one has a smaller bore altogether. So watch you don't mix them up. That will keep for stock for another model. And then I believe it was this one we needed. Yes. Yep. So the holes are a lot different. Always match them up. And there you go. Base plate's on. Wide open throttle. Nothing's binding up. Nothing's hitting anything. Beautiful. Alright, so I'm going to install my squirters. There's also a check valve that goes in there. Don't ever forget those. And they go down inside here. Now, the front one's a little tougher to get. Sometimes a very small pair of needle nose, which I think I have here someplace. Like these. We'll get them in there. Along with the squirters. Because I didn't pull the choke. I didn't pull the choke shaft. Didn't want to. It fought me, so I left it alone. Alright, I found a little trick with those little rubber O-rings they use for the needle and seat. Put them in the recess before you put the screw in. Push them all the way down with a little screwdriver or something blunt. And then run your screw in. But be careful you don't cross thread this, because it's a little difficult. Put a little drop of oil on it maybe. Run this all the way down. Just touch the bottom and back it out. Let it turn in half to 2 turns. Those little rubber O-rings do hold in when you push them down inside these metering blocks. Then if you just stick them on the mixture adjustment screw, they do not move. So, little trick I just learned. You learn something every day. So next I put the plastic cam. Now, I don't know if these are pink or red or they're just colored. These might not be the ones I'm going to use, but I put them on position number 1 on the cam, which I'm probably going to end up changing and tailor it to my tunes, how the carburetor is going to run, how the car works. Then I'll take the arm, which you don't have to put on right this minute. I think I'm going to put it right on there and install the E-clip. Sometimes you can get these with your finger or a small screwdriver. There, done. And sometimes you want to put a little dab of grease or silicone or something on that cam. That'll work. And then repeat that for the other side. That too was on position 1 on the cam also when I removed it. So I'll put that one on. So now come the accelerator pump nozzles. Now these probably aren't right for this engine and this application, but there is a number stamped on it. This is a number 37, which is very large. And there's a gasket there. When you put this through, there's a gasket between that and the carburetor. You got to make sure you put them in there or it will leak. Now, I'm going to put the 37 on the primary for now. But the fun part is this one here falls off all, now I won't do it. It falls off all the time. So what I do is a pin dropper of oil, put a little drop of oil in there just to stick it to that. The dogs are in there tearing up plastic. I am going to have one giant mess to clean up. So now what I'll do is sometimes you can do a screwdriver in your finger, but where did that needle nose pliers go I just had here? Real long pair. Okay, there we are. So what I do is I grab them like that and I feed it down in there because it can be a pain. You might have to go offset of the shaft. Just make sure you don't lose that thing. The, what you call it, gasket. And you can follow it up with a, I'm sure you guys got better ways of doing this. Follow it up with a Phillips head without cross-threading it. Make sure your tubes are lined up with each of the venturis. And then just run it in. Hold on here. There we go. All right. And then we'll snug them in. Same thing goes to the back. The back one you can do with the with your fingers. This is a number 31. So these are a little bit large for what it is, but you never know. My car might like it. That's what all tuning's all about. Unfortunately, I got to start all over from them beautiful 650s I had on here, and I had that thing tuned nicely. And now I'm going to play this game again. So these are also the tube style. Put your gaskets already on the screw. Your check valves are already in the bottom of the bottom of the body. And you will line these up. And there's actually a notch on the back of this that lines up with this vent tube in the back. So it centers it. And then you just give it a little turn like that and you're good. Okay, being I don't have a power valve for the primaries right away, I have to go look for one. I'm going to do the secondaries first. I'm going to put the bowl on that. So I'm going to flip this thing. I need one of them carburetor holders. Bill from Old Man's Garage has one. I got to either buy one or make one. So you want to put your carburetor up. Or you can actually, maybe that might work. I'm going to take our metering block. And I always match them up to usually what was in here with all the holes. Always try to match them up. That's upside down, silly. And make sure the same amount of holes are in there. See? Different. Some of these are different in the middle, but this is the right one. So that kit was right. And then we're going to take and place this over that. And it's actually got dowel pins that'll locate this. Okay. Why are you not upside down? Hey, silly, upside down. Okay, so there you go. There's that. And you can carefully place that there. And that'll sit on a dowel pin. And when it's turned on in, it's a little easier. We'll get this ready. Now, on your 4 screws for the ends, they usually have a gasket. Gaskets are nice, but these plastic Teflon ones are the bomb because they are reusable. So I'm going to pull them off and I'll put the Teflon ones on. Okay, so all your screws have the Teflons on the back. Now, one thing I want to do before we go any farther, before we put this back together, needle and seat. It's always nicer. I like to put them in and set the float by eye looking at it this way. I mean, you can do it through here, but I set it a little bit lower before I bolt the thing together. I'd rather have it too low. Turn on the electric fuel pump if you have one, if not mechanical, and chase the float level through your sight glass right here. All right, so meanwhile it'll be too low and you just chase it with the adjustment on your needle and seat until it starts to trickle out there and then you lock it down. That's how I like to do it. Start low, work your way up. So let me get that assembly together. I have to unpackage that. It's in the bag stuff. All right, so that's what they give you. It's 4 gaskets and 2 needle and seat, and I already have the O-rings. Don't mind the noise in the back. Maggie and Panzer are playing with a piece of plastic. It's better than being in other trouble. So what you want to do is assemble these with the nuts and the adjustment nut and the screw and run it down there, and we'll show you how to adjust that. All right, so I got a little pin oiler here, and there's a little O-ring, and I like to oil these O-rings. Instead of trying to jam them inside this unit, oil it up a little bit so it doesn't cut that O-ring, because if it does, you can end up with trash inside it. And then maybe a little on the thread actually helps, even though that's new, but this is aluminum and brass. So what I'm gonna do is run that down. Now, what I'm gonna do is take this float and I'm gonna hold it up. Now that would be the highest point. I'm gonna back this screw and this nut off, and I'm gonna turn this nut and turn this unit down. Just keep light pressure on the float. And as you turn that down, you'll feel it push it down. If you can see that, pushing it down. Now, I'm gonna take this adjuster screw, back it off. Now I'm gonna push this float. As you can see, it's going down. There'd be almost probably center or level, but I'm gonna go past that. I'm gonna keep it a little lower than usual, because I'm gonna chase my float level. I'd rather chase it up than have too much it going in that engine. So we're down pretty far, but you can only go so far, and then you run out of threads here. So there's where it's up against the needle. That would be the closed position. So don't mind my children in the background. They're driving me nuts. But all right, and you would snug these down for now, and then we'll put these together. So we have our screws ready with the washers on them. I put a little dab of oil on the threads. And what you're going to do is, pull this cam up. I'm going to line these up with that. Hold that down like that. It takes a little finesse. You might have to push up on this. Sometimes it's easier to leave this off, but it is doable. You just have to clearance these two pieces to get this bowl to bolt on. Once that's clear, run your screws in by hand, all four. Usually you can run them in with your fingers, so you know they're engaged with the threads properly and not cross-threaded. And it takes a 5/16 socket or nut driver and just cross tighten them. Just finger loose, that's all. All right. Yes, this is a different bowl from another carburetor. The other one was probably missing, damaged or something. I do not know where this carburetor came from. So, all right, so they're just finger tight right now. Make sure this is aligned. There is a setting in between here. And your secondaries, they do work, okay? That's the sound of your float there banging around. That's good, that means it isn't bound up. So now you want to take these and snug them down, but do them in a cross pattern. Don't go crazy. It's only like a pot metal aluminum. I don't know what the heck they call that. But you don't want to be ripping threads out. And maybe once you run it for a while, you might want to check them again. All right, so the back half is done. So I'm gonna go find me a close power valve for the front metering block in the parts room, and I will return. All right, so I scrounged up a 4.5. It's probably gonna need a 3.5, but until we get a vacuum gauge on this thing, at idle, in park or neutral, we won't know. So I'm gonna install this one for now, and we'll go from there. So, I should get one of those power valve. I think they make a tool for these, but usually I use a socket or a careful pair of pliers to do it. You know, so it's a 4.5. I write around the carburetor. I'll put it on there. 4.5. Let me just write it here. 4.5. And the dogs are in there tearing stuff up again. So, all right. So same goes as before with the gasket and all that stuff is the back. Pretty much same thing. You might have just caught a blooper of mine. I just thought of it. Guess what I forgot? Secondary bowl gasket. Don't do as I do. Do as I say, not as I do. That's it. Yeah, that's it. So let me take this apart. So, blooper. Yeah, that little blue thing that goes right here. Yep, right there. Kind of forgot it. I'm not used to giving instructional videos. So that little blue thing called a gasket goes there, and this goes on. Yeah, I'm not good with instructional videos. Don't do as I do, or do as I say, or whatever. So, yeah. Same thing with the gaskets. Torque them left, cross torque, snug up, watch your adjustments, and all that good stuff. Okay, let's do this again with, this time I won't forget the gaskets. Alright. So, put, quiet in the background. Gasket on there, on the dowel pins. We're not forgetting anything, right? Nope. Okay. Power valves in. Hey, shush. Shush-and-z. Don't forget the gasket this time. Maybe it's the cold snacks. I don't know. That's only number 2, so it's Friday. Allowed to have a little fun. So put your gasket on. These are supposedly the non-stick ones. You could spray and put chapstick on them, whatever you want. And we'll do the same thing again. We'll reset that. The float with that, I'll put the needle and seat assemblies together, and we'll put this together. There it is. The 750 double pumper. 4779-9. 4.5 power valve in the front. 73 jet in the front. 82 in the back. 31 squirter in the front. 37 in the front and 31 in the back, which I think is going to be too big. You never know. Car might like it with the converter setup, and who knows, trans brake, I don't know. All that's tunable. All I gotta do is set these floats once I get on there, and then set my mixture screws once it's warmed up and going. And here's a brand new base gasket. And otherwise, no, I call that done. It came out pretty nice. It was fairly clean inside. Shout out to Allstate Carburetor. Seems like a decent kit. I liked it. The gaskets are pretty good quality. I have these quick fuels. They were off my tunnel rim. Those things worked awesome. They were brand new. I got a good deal on those. I don't know whether I want to sell them yet. I should. Really don't need them. And I got a dual quad set up there, but it's got a pair of Pond, I call it Pond. I think they were found in the Pond, Edelbrocks or Webers. But I don't know. Some extra stuff, some old school Holley stuff, or AC stuff. And there's the big boy. There's your 1150. That's for the 496. And I got a couple extra cords up here that didn't work, that just need kits. I'll go through them as I need them. Otherwise, a couple extra accelerator pumps. Got an extra pair of these. Throw them in the trailer for when we go to the track. Somebody might need one. I might need one. You never know. So, I went to let the doggies out. And of course back in. Yes, you, Maggie. And it looks like, and I just cleaned in here. Look at this mess. Somebody's teething and just getting in trouble. That was an Amazon bag we just opened up. What do you think, Mag? I'm sure you did that when you were a pup, right? Mm-hmm. Monkey see, monkey do. You still do it. All right. Well, anyway, I guess I'll call this done. And I think I'm going to work on the 396 next, being it's a crappy day. Crappy afternoon. And I want to clean that, go through all the ball holes, hone it out. And we'll do one more wash on it, bag it up, and I am waiting for a couple parts. I need a camshaft, cam and lifters. I'm afraid of flat tappet stuff now. That stuff's just junk. It's not lasting, and a good roller setup is $1,100, $1,200 now. So maybe I can find something used out there in a roller. I don't know. I do have this motor. This was a 375 horse 396. That was a 325 horse 396 4-bolt main. But this one's, that's 60. That one's still standard. This had a nice combination. I don't know where that standard block, I don't know the story on that. Where is that piston? Dimple rods. Look at these pistons. That's the that's a TRW closed chamber 11-to-1 piston that they used in it. Look how clean this thing is. There's a set of 8. Yeah, I want to put that together, but it's one little issue, and I'm afraid if I put the bottle on it, I will definitely blow it up. So I rather put the bottle on what I'm working on now, and I think it'd be a little safer. See monkey do. All right, well, I'm gonna get on that 396 and have a couple cold snacks and just relax for the rest of the day.